Welcome back to the Airbnb clone build. Today we're going to be building out the home page and the landing page. If you missed it last time, we started by building out the navigation and doing the basic architecture. We're going to be building this website right here. You might have seen it before. It's Airbnb. So without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so as you can see, we've already got the nav up and running. It works, switches between the different URLs, so that's good to go. The next thing we want to go ahead and do is build out the rest of that homepage. So we want to add all these listings and things like that, and build out the general grid, and work on the listing cards themselves, which are gonna turn into eventually into the listing pages. So let's get started on just building out this general section right here. One thing that I think I'm gonna need is some like example data or something to work with in order to populate these. So I could just create like basically a sample data.json here. So if I do that, I'll create another folder, call it data. And we're going to use, a larger data set when we actually build this out. But I'll say index.ts. And then we're going to say const mock data. And this is just going to be an array of objects. And it's basic stuff that we need. So we need a title, which is going to be home title. We're going to need an image, which is going to be image.url. We're going to need, what else do we need? We need a price. I guess it's giving me for 2 nights. So it's just giving me suggestions here. So I guess how do we want to handle the data? So this is kind of important to think about as you're building this out. How do you want to handle the data? In terms of, do I get the individual price per night, or is there like a field that says, oh, this is the price for 2 nights? I think we're going to go with the base price. We're going to say, let's call it 100. And then we're going to say taxes and fees. We're going to say 25. And then we're going to say rating, 4.5. What else do we need? Is favorite. I'm going to say true. What else do we need here? What am I missing? I think in terms of this page, that's pretty much all the information we need. The 2 nights thing I think is actually something that's page specific. So like if it surfaces 2 nights for me, it knows that I'm looking for shorter stays, but maybe it would end up surfacing a week if I knew I was looking for longer stays. I'm not quite sure. I don't spend that much time looking at the dashboard in this sense, but we can figure it out. So we have popular homes in Miami, available in New York this weekend, stay in Philadelphia. So it's just basically picking random cities around the world. So that's fine. As I said, we're going to use sample data for now, and then we'll populate this with real data later. So for now, let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with a carousel of 8. All right, so it's 8 pieces of data that we need. So what I'm going to do actually here, I'm going to take this mock data, I'm going to pass it to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, I'm building an Airbnb clone using this sample JS object. Give me some fake data for me to start building out my site. I need at least 8 entries. Actually, I need 8. 8 entries, 8 objects within this array. If the image URLs are real, could be real, that would be great. Send that and see what we get, rather than us trying to figure out, how to build this out. Awesome. So yeah, it did that in 2 seconds, and we can just copy and paste that. So we'll use this for now, and then we can come back and ask it for other data later, in terms of like per city or whatever. And again, we're going to build out either our own API or use a real API for this. So we're not too concerned about how it's going to look, or like what the data is going to be structured like later. It's just for now. So we have our mock data. Good. So good to go there. And let's go back to our main page here. So really, this is going to be, last time we kind of modified this, so it's actually going to be our homes page. And really, what we need, and the reason we're not seeing anything on any of these pages is because we've hoisted our nav to our layout page so that it's on every page. Now, this might pose a problem later down the line because we do have pages like our booking page that does not have that same nav, but I think it might be a thing where we can, if we pass it this URL like book, we can make some modifications to the style, so that might be our solution around that. All right, so closing a couple of these because we don't actually need all of them. Let's close a bunch here. We are going to work on our homes page. That's our main page there. So with our homes page and our, so if you notice, Airbnb.com, when you click on homes, thank you, it's going to give you a pretty similar view, but if you notice, the places actually change. So they are technically two separate pages. We can handle this basically by either using the same different set of search results for each or just using the same one. I'm not quite sure why they have just two slightly different sets of results, but that's what's going on there essentially. We could even do a redirect so that when you land on Airbnb.com, it just automatically directs you to homes. That could be another solution. But for now, we can just build it out on our homes page and copy it over to our slash or something like that. All right, so looking at our homes page, as I said, we're going to need to build out these like listings. And basically they're the same, right? They're some sort of title that when you click, it'll open up to this larger search listings page. So actually, let's open that in another tab because we hadn't actually considered this page. So I'm going to add that actually to our larger listing here. So we need the search page. Which I think is going to be important. So our search page, which, where we go? Yeah, it's going to have, again, all of these individual cards. So it might be something that we can reuse on those pages, or maybe there's additional data we can add to each of our objects. But search page has the little nav, but it's like a search nav. But it's fairly similar. So we have our nav. Search nav. I'm going to call it search nav. Or we have our nav. We have our search. We have our footer. And what else do we have? And we have filters, but that's part of our search. And then we have like the map. All right. And we'll see if we're able to build this out exactly like that. But back to the main page. So yeah, it's basically just this link title here and then these individual cards. So I think I'm going to start by, what should we call this? Listing carousel? Let's do that. Let's call it a listing carousel. So we're going to make another component. So get out of navigation. This is going to be a new folder. We're going to say landing or homes. We're going to call it homes. And we're going to say new file, listing carousel.tsx. Cool. And so what this carousel is going to return is starting off with a typography element that is actually going to be a link. And typography in MUI is just like a text element, and you can assign it different variations of headings, body text, things like that. And this is actually something you could customize if you wanted to create a custom theme object. So just good to have. Sorry. And then we are going to say, listing carousel. And the carousel is going to take in a header and a header link. And we're going to say interface props. Header is going to be a string. Header link is also going to be a string. I'm going to take props, go here, props, save that. And so the header is going to be here. And then we're going to actually wrap this in a link. And the link is going to be from next link. We're going to say the link is the header link. And it's not link, it's the href. All right, cool, awesome. So we have that. So this is going to be a flex box. And this is like the whole box we have here. So display flex. And then we're going to say flex direction is going to be column. I'm going to save that. All right, so we have that, and then the box that actually has our carousel. So within our carousel, we want to have, and actually we have the left and right buttons here. Okay. But within our carousel, we need to have, let me see if MUI has a carousel option, because I know there's another React option, carousel? Is that how you spell carousel? Let's see, React carousel, React. Let's see what options we have there. Embla carousel. Let's look at it. Loop. All right, this looks pretty decent. I wonder if we can, but I want to see all of them. Is there an option for me to slides per view? That looks like what I'd want. Okay, let's try, actually, let me keep going. Yeah, okay, let's try slides per view. Where did you go? There you are. And then React and TypeScript. Okay, looking good so far. Okay, so the arrow buttons and the dot buttons are their own thing. Where are the dot buttons? Embla container, Embla carousel, arrow buttons. Okay. Header footer, that's separate. CSS. Okay. I mean, it looks interesting. Let me see how it tells me to get started if I'm working with React. All right, let's start there. And then, okay. All right, cool. So it's kind of just telling us what we have here already. So I think I might just bring that into the project. Let's see. Slides.maps. Those are going to be our cards. So let's try copying this for now into this box. Save that. And then we'll grab these. Well, actually, we'll grab all of this. Drop this in here. And then add 2 more props here. And then we'll import all of these here. And I'm doing this in pieces just because I don't need the whole object. Right, and they have the arrow buttons. All right, so then we'll create another one called, I don't actually need the dot button, so maybe I could just get rid of those. But I do want the arrow button, so we'll create another file. We'll say carousel I'm trying to think if there are any other pages where we need a carousel. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. And then with this now, I can just copy everything and drop that in here. And what else are we missing? We probably need the style somewhere. Let's grab everything and drop it into our app for now, into our globals. And then let's try and fix all the fixes that we need to fix. All right, so it says use dot. Oh yeah, we're gonna take away the dots. We don't need the dot buttons. Okay, and what else? Yeah, we don't need these. We don't need this whole section at all. Okay, cool. So that is there. We should hook this up to a page so we can actually see it. So we'll say listing carousel, and the header I'm going to pass is homes in Miami, and then the href, the header link, is going to be just slash for now. And oh, it's missing slides. What is slides supposed to be? Right, because it would pass the number. Oh, it's an array of numbers. All right, so just for now, we'll say slides equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to update that to be our mock data type, but for now we can leave it there. All right, have that. That should be kind of working. Oh, one issue. What is our issue? Okay. Oh, you know what? And we need to go to homes. Oh, why is that not working? Okay. If anything, I'll just put this in the page and we can connect the two after. This should be a client component. Fair enough. Good. And this also needs to be a client component. Okay. All right, awesome. Well, it looks like we have our carousel. I don't know why it starts at 2, but other than that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Seems to be working other than the fact that it starts at 2. Cool. I'm happy-ish with that. Let me take a look at the sandbox. Let's see, slides.map. Oh, see, there's a bug here. Index +1 is the number. So I actually need to start this at 0 if I want to see 1. Not a bug. Well, a bug. Why? Their slides must be starting at. Yeah, their slides start at 0. So that's fine. All right, cool. So we have our slides. Awesome. I want to go ahead and now actually style out the actual cards because that's what's going to make our thing look like Airbnb versus just a random listing carousel. So the next thing we want to do, we have carousel arrow buttons. We have the listing carousel. The next thing we want to do is, oh, and I also want to move these buttons up here. So actually, that's something I can do hopefully easily. Let's see if we move these up here, what happens. Okay, that looks pretty decent. I'm going to wrap these two in a box. Oh, my bad. I got to move this. This to go over here. Good. And we're going to say display flex. We're going to say space between, justify content, space between. Save that. Cool, looking pretty decent. All right, let's do some work on the styling. So first of all, we want to fix our font here. 1.25 rem. It's going to be whatever our black color is. Let's go with that. So that's going to be our H3 here. We're going to say SX equals font size 1.25 rem. Color is going to be colors dot black. Save that. What else do we need? Oh, we need this little arrow. How do you draw a right arrow? Just a little something like that. Let's see. Let's see what icons I have. Oh, it took me to MUI X. I want just icons. There we go. Arrow. Yeah, so I want an arrow forward. That's basically what I want. So import that there. I might end up separating out some of this just to keep it a little bit more clean, but we'll see. All right, so cool. We have arrow forward icon. And we're going to make this a box. Just treating it like a div, just to align, try and align these a little bit better. All right, so home is in Miami, and then font weight, we're going to say font weight is going to be 600. Cool, looks all right for now. As I said, the font isn't exact, but in terms of size and stuff like that, not too bad. Sorry, the other thing I'm noticing is our container, but that's like a larger issue with this site. So maybe we'll tackle that in this section here. The other piece here we have is our buttons. And remember, we made our custom buttons. So actually, I'm going to want to use those buttons instead, if possible. Let's see. Okay, so they're just using the buttons they've created. So maybe I can just sub in the secondary buttons. And go secondary button. Let's see if that works. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. But did I break it? Does it work now? Because it worked before, right? Yeah, they worked before. Let's see. Redo. Oh, they did not redo. All right, let's do secondary button. All right. Let's see what we have to modify. It needs on-click and it needs disabled. Button disabled. And then it's exporting this. type equals button, class name, children, rest of the props. On previous button, click. Okay, let's ask Claude to jump in real quick. I've replaced in at carousel arrow buttons. I've replaced the button element with a customized secondary button element. But now the nothing happens when I click the buttons. Why? See if I can figure it out. See if we can figure it out before Claude. Okay, it's okay. So it's not being passed. Okay, we're just not spreading the props. This is like a persistent problem. Oh, they're button props. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we wanted to have all the props of a button. So basically, it's imported the type of button props. Now, like things like disabled on click will work. That's pretty awesome. I did not know you can do that. Now you are upset because string. Okay, let's figure that one out. Let's see, secondary button. String undefined is types of color are incompatible. All right, I think it might have overdone us with the fix. There we go. Actually, let's see. Okay, I think that should work. There we go. All right. So yeah, it was just a prop type misconfiguration, which works now. All right, awesome. So now we can use our styles, which is exactly what we want to do. Although we actually do need to pass the SX prop because I'm going to want to say, or actually, no. Here's what we could do. Let's leave it for now. We have our two buttons. Let's make the cards. Let's go ahead and make the cards. So we'll say new file. We'll say listing card.tsx. And then for each of let me close a couple of these down. For each, instead of slides, we're going to say we need to show, we need a listing carousel, listing card. Cool. The key is going to be index. Well, actually, this should be the slide. Actually, let's do mock data. Mock data.map. We're going to say listing is listing, and where is our data? I should have added an ID to all of these. ID. Let's do the index for now. But that'll be something we want to add when we use real data if it's not there already. All right, so we have our listing. It doesn't accept the value of listing yet because we haven't told it to. So let's do that. We're going to say listing. And we're going to say interface props. We're going to say listing, and it's going to be the type. Let's create another folder. I'm going to say types to PS. Let's rename types. I'm going to say and it's going to be one of these, but without the data. So it's going to be a string. It's going to be a string. A number, and this is going to be a boolean. I'm going to say listing, types, and I'm going to say this is props. Cool. All right, so we have one for each listing. Oh, that's a lot. Interesting. It's more than I thought there would be. Why is that? Should only be 8. Mock data.map. Mock data from data. Oh, is it more than 8? All right, anyway, we'll figure that out. So great, we have our listing card. And then in the card, we want to transform it to look like one of these. So we're going to start, I guess, it's actually bigger, right? It's actually a rectangle. So we're going to start with probably going to do an image within the rectangle. Or do we do a box? Maybe we do a box and have it as the background. Let's do a box. I'm going to say background image is listing dot image, and then under here we'll have the information, so the typography. We're going to say the listing dot title, and what else do we need? Well, let's start with that actually, because I want to see how this is working. Okay, so it maps through a whole set first, and then we get the rest. Interesting. And the images aren't showing up yet. Round image. Let me try it actually with an image. From next image, so we'll say the source is listing.image, and then the height will be 200, width will be 200, alt will be title, listing image, let's go listing.title, title, listing image. Invalid prop, because I haven't configured this in my next config. So because it is not, how do we do this? We need to configure the host to allow us to use that image. Okay, so images, remote patterns. Let's see if that works. In module.export. Images, patterns. All right, let's see if that works. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Did it stop running? Oh, invalid. Okay, that's working. Hey, there we go. All right, we got our images. Cool. So, except for the first one. Weird. But anyway, we have our images for the most part. Mock data, you were so close. Let's see if we can grab something here. All right, let's just use another one of the other images for this one for now. Just so we have something. All right, so we have a bunch of images. Cool. The next thing we need to do, well, a couple things. I need this to be wider as far as the carousel goes. So let's take a look at our styles. Container. They have a max width. All right, let's get rid of this, see what happens there. Okay, better. And then let's try adding some margin to top and bottom 0, but we want left and right. Let's try 2 rem. Oh, that's the slide though. But no, it should work. I can add it to the listing cars, we'll say. Margin. Okay, cool, looking good. Awesome. And then let's take a look at the original here. All right, it's not actually that much. It's like 0.5 rem, if so much. And then we're gonna make the border round. So Actually, let me get rid of this and see if it's a background thing that's working. No, the background is not working. Wonder. I wonder if it's because I have to do like the URL thing. Like URL bracket, whatever the URL is. Yeah. Wait, let me get rid of this. Yeah, okay, that's what I need to do. All right, so let's do it that way so that I can put stuff inside. Oh, never mind, doesn't work. It is upset because doesn't match. Yes, it does not match, but let's go background URL CSS. Okay, yeah. Background URL, not local. Okay, it should still work. URL, and it's within quotes. Interesting. Okay, we'll leave it like this for now, but I feel like it should work. So that means we're just going to have to put our styles here. So we'll say style equals border radius. Let's do 4M. It's quite a round border. Oh, but there it's like on a background. Oh, that's super weird. Is it actually doing the background? Not because I didn't have anything in here. Okay. So let's say background size contain. I think it's contain. And then got you. Okay. And we'll say the box, we're going to say height equals 200, width equals, oops, 200, save that. All right. And then I think we can get rid of this image. Maybe. Yes. Okay. So we're going to say cover. Actually, I think that's what we want. Cover. Or is it fill? No. Cover. Cover is what we want. Then we're going to say border radius. We're going to say 4rem. Maybe a bit too much. Let's do 2rem. Okay. Not looking too badly. Maybe even 1rem. Cool. Looking pretty decent. We have that. Then we have, there is this little favorite button. We're going to need that too. Okay, so underneath now we have the title of the place. So we're going to say listing.title. I reckon that it's probably like font size like 0.75 rem. It's a little small. And then we have the price for 2 nights. Then we need to calculate the price for 2 nights. So say const 2 night price equals listing dot base price plus listing dot fee taxes and fees. And again, we're literally just making this up. This is not how you calculate this in real life, but that's what it's going to be. And so we're going to say the 2 night price. We're going to drop another one of this. We're going to say the 2 night price. I'm going to say for 2 nights, or is it days? For 2 nights. And then we need dollar symbol, a little dot. So dollar symbol, a little dot. Can't remember how you draw the little dot. Figure that one out. And then we need well, it needs to be smaller in font as well, and it needs to be gray. So colors dot. Let's try the light gray. That's way too light. Let's do the dark gray. Yeah, not bad. And then the star rating. Let's see if we can write a dot HTML. There we go. Dot. And then we have our listing dot rating. We need a star, right? A star star HTML. Oh, can I just write filled star filled? That'll be quite cool. That did not work. That did not work at all. Let's try this. Let's try star first, because it seemed like it wanted to work. Nope, okay. And then let's try this. There we go. Okay, that's what we want. Awesome. So we have price for 2 nights with the dot and the star. Cool. What else do we need? Give it a little font here, a little bit of weight. We'll say font weight. We'll say 600. Cool. Maybe 500. Okay, cool. And then a little bit of margin on top of this box. Okay. Looking pretty good. What else do we need? So we need our favorites button. And I think this is a button that lives on more than one page. So it's on the listing. It's basically on every listing, but there's like a favorites there. So we kind of want it to do the same thing. I think we should just make our own button. So I'm going to say under shared, I'm going to say new file. We're going to say favorite button.tsx. And I think it's going to be pretty simple. I think what I'm going to do is see if I can grab a heart or 2 heart icons here. Heart. We'll say favorite border. And favorite border. And we're going to say favorite. We're going to grab those 2. And then we're going to say this is going to be a button. Is there like an icon only button? Yeah, icon button. And then it's just going to be the icon. Okay, and we'll drop this in the card up here. We'll try to drop it here. Favorite button. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, good. We have a button. Then, what do I want to do? I want to say, the other thing we want to show is guest favorite. So if it is a guest favorite, we want to show that. So let's do a little quick box. We'll say guest favorite. And we'll say okay, and then we're gonna say font size will be like 0.75 rem. Save that. Maybe that's a little bit too big, but we'll see. Then we'll say width, fit, content. Okay. Yeah, it could be even smaller, to be honest. 0.5 rem. Just needs to refresh. All right, well, it'll update once it refreshes. 0.5 rem. And then, so we have that, we have this, we have this. We'll make this a flex box. We'll say display flex. We'll say justify content, space between. We'll say height, fit content. We'll do font size on this. There we go. 7.5 rem. Content. Good. And we'll say font weight is 500. Good. And then we'll say align items. We'll say flex start. Okay, cool. Looking pretty decent. I'm going to add a little bit of margin to the guest favorite element. Say 0.25 rem. And that's looking pretty decent. Yeah, looking pretty decent. I think this probably has some kind of like background color. Like when you click it, well, it's probably going to prompt me to log in or something, right? But it should change probably to the pink color when you click on it. All right, so looking pretty good as far as these listing card items go. I think we want to just clean this up and then spit out a few more of them on the page. So next step will be to just add a little bit of margin. I think, oops, not to the card itself, but to the carousel, or at least the box that holds the carousel. This is the Embla section, so I think I could just add a little bit of margin. Okay, good. And yeah, that looks pretty good. The other thing that's going to have to happen is when we click on it, it's going to redirect us to a listing. But right now we have nowhere to go. So I'm pretty content with this for like just, really quick spun up options here. You could probably add a little bit of a box shadow and stuff like that to the listing card itself, to the guest favorite element here. So say box shadow. How do we do that? Let's try just something basic. Yeah, just a little bit of a box shadow there just to separate it. And yeah, we'll set up our favorites button when we have something there. The other thing I want to fix is for the listing card itself. If I do one rem left, and no, that's going to separate them from each other. The listing carousel, the container, okay, we're just going to go with 0. I think it's trying to fix for that. Oh, okay. Slide spacing large. Where are you getting this? -1. Let's try. But that's going to be literally -1. Slide spacing large -1. All right, we can leave that alone for now. We'll fix that after. Let me just drop a couple of these on the home page. We can also get rid of this slides thing. We'll go into listing carousel. We'll take out slides because it's no longer used. Awesome. And there we go. We have homes in Miami for days. All right, let's see. Next thing we're going to need to do is we want to build out the footers. Yeah, the footer I think is the last thing we need on this homepage. Yeah, so build the footer and then we're good to go. So let's go ahead and create another component called footer. And footer is actually going to go near nav in the layout. So we're going to have nav, children, footer. Awesome. And then all we need for our footer is all of this data. So let's do that. Let's grab this. Let's create a box. Save that. What do we need? It's basically it's a really big footer. Just like a fancy list of information. Random city names. Okay, how do we want to do this? Let's do inspiration for future getaways. We'll say typography. Typography is going to be that. Inspiration for future getaways. And then we'll have this in a list. So we'll say cool categories, and then we have our cities. Oh wow, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. I think we're just gonna do 8. And I'm going to do something crazy here. I'm going to say this. Perfect. What else do we need? Same thing. Perfect. All right, and I think I'm going to start to put this into the data. Excuse me. All right. I'm going to put that in here. Cool. And then we'll do that as well. We'll do all of our data just to be organized. We'll live in here. All right. So the thing that we used in our nav, the tabs, we kind of want to do another one of those. So I wonder if I just copy the tabs from MUI and do that, if that's going to work as I expect. Let's try. The value, what is the value? Great. And then we don't need custom tabs. We just want regular basic tabs. I want to copy that. I want to go see what that looks like. Tab, children, classes. I want to see it in an example. There we go. Tab, label, and we just label it. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. And they are self-closing. Love it. All right. So we'll say tab. We'll say, we're going to say label equals. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to say categories.map. For each category, we want to go ahead and return a tab. The label is the category. We're going to say that. And we'll say the key is also the category. Perfect. All right. So, all the way to the bottom here. Awesome. It's not quite working yet, but it conceptually it works. So, the other thing we need to do is set that gray as our background for this. So we're going to say background color. It was colors dot, let's say, light gray 500. Cool. We also need to do, what did we do with the nav? We made the width 100. We need to do that same thing here. Say width 100. Awesome, looking good. And then how did we get that container? You know, we did this container, but I'm not convinced that was the right way to go. But we'll see. All right, we have that container. We have our is this? 1.5 rem. And then that. What else? Oh, I was like, why does this look the same? It looks done. It's not yours. All right, we need some margin on the top and bottom here. Let's say. Oh, so containers modifies margin. Good to know. All right, so we have our margin. We have our thingy doesn't work yet. What else do we need? Oh, we need to map through the rest of our stuff. So we need to map through the future getaways. So let's do locations. Yeah, locations.map. We're gonna do we're gonna have another typography element. Oops. Type. Okay. And then that's telling me, oh, I'm putting this inside tabs, which I do not want to do. I want to just have it below. Perfect. Okay. And then we need this in a box. It's kind of its own thing. And then we're going to call this Flexbox. Okay, good. Let's see how they do it. They have the name, and the city name is kind of bigger. Let's do 0.85 rem. Font weight is going to be like 500. And then we have the font. Well, the color is different. First of all, we're going to do colors dot. I don't know if that's right. Nope, let's do dark gray. Is it the same size? It looks slightly smaller, but maybe that's just because it's not. Oh, is it dark? Yeah, dark gray 500. Okay. Font size. Let's do the same font size, but maybe because it might just be because of the weight that's making it different sizes. And then probably just. We're gonna say flex wrap. Flex wrap. I'm gonna say justify content space between. And then for each of these, we're gonna say. So we're gonna say. Okay. And then we'll do some margin top and bottom. Let's do 1 rem. Oops, one rem. Let's do some rem on the whole thing. Okay. Oh, that's going to change all of them. All right, we're just gonna stick with one for now. And then we're gonna just drop these down here. So then we're gonna have a couple more sections. We're gonna say box. We're gonna say support. And then we're gonna say the support links. And then we're just going to do this twice more with hosting links and Airbnb links. All right, so say hosting and Airbnb. And these are going to go in a box. And then we're just going to change this now. What are these? These are about the same size too, so I'm going to say these are oops, 8.5 rem. Change this one as well. Really change everything in this section to be that. Except these are going to have this going for it. So each of the links is going to have the same size with a different color. Don't think it's space between, I think. I think we just have a minimum width on them. I think that's probably the solution there. Drop that, that, save that. Cool. And I think that's pretty good for the moment. Value, I'm going to hard set to 1 for the moment, just because we actually want it to be the just the popular locations, because we don't have data for the rest of them. I'm just going to copy these to the tabs. Oh, no, sorry, actually. Black. And selected should be black. All right. Oops, this should be dark gray. Sorry. Reverse that. All right, good. So I think that's pretty set, pretty good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good so far. We could add a few more things, update the spacing a bit. Add a little bit more spacing to this. Just a little bit of room there. Maybe add a little bit more space in between the links and actually turn them into links. But for now, that's a good start. So yeah, we kind of have our homepage ready to go. The next thing that we're going to be doing with this build here, the next thing we're going to be doing is we are going to actually go ahead and build out the database. So we're going to start using our real listings. We're going to set up our Supabase, our backend, and build all of that out. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you want to see the rest of the videos in this build, click here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.